Hello, everyone. Hello, Alex Lamberg. We stay here for talking about a new book on chain law and finance, the author Alexandro Maria Tirelli. And with Alex Lamberg, we talk about some question. Alex is worked as a business analyst on Wall Street since 1992 with the following companies: Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Barclays Capital, CBC, Bank of America Securities, and Credit Suisse. He brings a vast understanding of business process. We say that he is a visionary leader skilled in repositioning assets for profit through comprehensive physical, financial, and technical analysis, close interaction with traders, developer, clients, and source of liquid. And he expert in AI, specialized in automation, in application knowledge in equity trading and settlement, fixed income trading and settlement, derivatives trading and setting, fixed trading and settlement, credit analysis, risk management, and other things. So you are welcome here.
Thank you.
Alex, we talk about the book of DeFi, and Alexandro in the book speaks about a paradigm shift in global finance. Trust is no longer placed in the state of the bank, but in the code and blockchain. And from your perspective as a financial expert, how do you interpret this transformation and trust in economic system? And what opportunity or systemic risk do you see for investor, regulators, and financial institution?
Oh, so it's a lot of questions rolled up into one. I'll try to break it down fairly quickly. Let's start with you mentioned trust first, yeah. Trust. We're never going to get rid of trust, right? I still need to trust, right? If I'm dealing with the government, I'm going to need to trust the government. How we deal with each other can change from 1 to 1,000 ways, right? If I deal with you, doctor, or I deal with a banking institution, my trust still has to be there, right? How we handle that trust, how do we make it easier for you to feel more comfortable, right? So let's say the word trust that everybody uses is not going to change. How do I make you feel more comfortable in dealing with me, whether you trust me or not? I think that's the better way of actually looking at this new world, right? How do I make you feel comfortable? And how do I make you feel? I show you the tools that we use and the processes that we'll have in between us that makes you feel comfortable. And then, yes, if you feel comfortable, you could say you trust me, right? But trust is never going to go away, and it's never going to shift how we deal with each other well. So we understand that. So now governments, financial institutions, businesses, even the people that you buy, supermarket products that deliver your products to the house, right? We're all going to start using systems that are just more efficient, right? The blockchain, it's more efficient because it's faster. It's much harder to capture information traveling from me to you or you to me, and then changing that information. You could change it from one perspective, but there are copies across thousands, so it's impossible. So now you and I are more comfortable with that. That's going to find its way into everything. In your particular case, whether it's a government using that technology or a business using that technology, for all of us, it's just going to make things a little bit faster, a little bit more secured, or a lot more secured. And for those businesses, cheaper. A lot of people don't understand that, when a government or a bank or a business needs to use another party to make you feel comfortable, to deal with me, that third party costs money, right? And there might be inefficiencies or not, but that third party says, okay, listen, you're going to give me a piece of this transaction, and I'm going to secure both of you, whether it's through an insurance policy or support, what have you. I'm gonna cover doctor, I'm gonna cover Alex, so that if anything goes wrong in between, it's my responsibility, it's not yours. So now we're more comfortable. But that comes with a price. It also comes with time, right? Because now it's not information being sent to you and me directly. It has to get sent to somebody else, and they have to verify, or they have to approve it. And they say, okay, I'm gonna. This is how I'm gonna secure you guys. So it takes time and it takes money. And what happens when a process costs more money? It costs your business, so your margins go down. But more importantly, to the consumer, to the user that wants that comfort, the price of my service, the price of the services that I buy or the goods that I buy, they go up, right? So ultimately, because you and I can talk about this for the next 10 days, ultimately, it's not a matter of trust, it's a matter of comfort. Now we'll be able to get that same level of comfort we used to get because there was another party involved, to now not having the need for that party, but even faster and cheaper transactions and operations. And that's the major shift that very few people actually talk about. And that's kind of the answer. And the next time you have me on the show, we'll talk about it for 10 more hours and we'll really break it down.
Thanks. This is the book on chain law and finance. For all people that see this interview, we can find this book of Alexandro Maria Tirelli on Amazon platform in ebook and white paper. And so we stay with Alex Lamberg about some question of this change. And the second question is from your global experience, do you think that financial system, international regulator are ready to address this challenge? And what kind of new expertise will financial institution and investor need to operate safely in the new decentralized environment?
It's amazing questions. But let's cover the regulatory part, because very early in my career, I was a compliance officer, so I was part of that regulation process. And let me explain something to you. It's not a matter of blockchain. Are the regulators ready for blockchain? Let's be realistic. The amount of people that a country or an organization within a government needs to hire to monitor regulation of the old products, the products that we've used for 50 years, 100 years, just to regulate all of those is almost impossible. Now you're putting in blockchain and the ability to create all kinds of derivative products from traditional financial products. They're not ready. They're never going to be ready. They were never ready 100 years ago. In the last 100 years, they're not going to be ready. Where the major shift, you're going to see this, there's no question. Because of the lack of resources, regulators could never anticipate what to look for next, right? So regulators, they sit back, just like police officers, maybe that's the way life should be, but they sit back and they wait for something bad to start to happen, right? They can't predict it's going to happen because there's just not enough people, not enough knowledge, right? So they sit back just like police officers. Police officers don't walk around looking at people that are going to kill other people. They wait for you to kill someone. It's a terrible example, but you understand. Regulators have to do the same thing. They sit there and they wait. They wait. Oh, somebody complained. Somebody called me. Somebody wrote. Let's go look at this. And then they say, okay, yeah, that's wrong. They're very reactive, right? And just there's no other way to do it. I'm sorry. In this new world, because there's going to be so much activity globalized in the same place, they're going to need to figure out, how can I start to transition from being only reaction based, wait for something to happen, wait for something to happen. How will I be able to actually predict, monitor, and then somehow maybe enforce this without having to invest $1 trillion, right? In the past, it's never happened. It never could happen. But with AI agents, and then us getting to higher levels of AI in the next few years, they will be able to, right? They will be able to have systemic monitoring across millions of products, right? Hypothetical. They will be able to have alerts, not waiting for the doctor to call and say, hey, these guys stole my money, come help me, right? AI will start to see irregularities in certain activities, in companies, and in chatter online. And then they would be able to, so that's coming, but that's the major shift that you and your public have to understand, that regulation will start to move from a reactive to a proactive monitoring process. And what's going to make that financially viable, feasible, is that it can't be done by human beings. It's going to be human beings working with artificial intelligence agents, which will act like, if your organization has 1,000 people, now imagine if I gave you 20,000. But the cost of running the organization is the same. You're going to love that, and it'll help the public. I got the government. What was the second part of that question? So that was the regulators, and what was the second part of that question? I believe it had to do with investors, but I want to make sure that I answer it correctly.
Top. And for Alexandro Tirelli, the same name of you in the book, talk about the highlights the need for solid and legal structure foundation, regulated DAOs compliant with paper, audit, and KC framework to ensure transparency and accountability. In your view, how crucial is it for the financial world to evolve from a reactive to a preventive approach in managing risk within digital finance and tokenization markets?
This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly so. It's, I don't care if it's regulators or financial markets. Living in a reactive environment is never, ever going to be a reality. It's just not. It's just not possible, right? So look, I've spent 25 years in the financial sector. Do you know what we've done for the last 25 years leveraging technology? In banking and in trading, we have always tried to build an edge, or tried to create an edge which gives us to be able to predict, right? Foresee, analyze, to be more proactive in our decision-making and our actions, allowing us to make investments early, allowing us to get out of certain investments, allowing us to do all of these pointers. So banks have always operated on this concept, right? What can we do to predict the future, or analyze the future, or give us a better view into the future? It's always been proactive. So whether it's from how they deal with regulators, banks have always been ahead of regulators and technology because they have a lot more money, and they do this for a living. Where I think that the interaction between banks and regulatory systems, like I said, as regulators start to become more proactive using technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and blockchain connectivity. Remember, the blockchain is going to make it much easier for a regulator to have a relation. Let's say, doctor, you're what's a big bank in Europe? Let's say Barclays, right? Let's say you're Barclays or Santander or whatever. Today, as a regulator, I come into your organization and say, hey, I think I have a little problem with these transactions. You put me in an office, some kid runs away, prints out these transactions, and he brings them in, and I'm sitting there for a day looking at these silly things. With blockchain, regulators will now be able to get a direct pipe, a direct connection to all of the transactions of the bank. And then what all the bank simply does is the regulator says, hey, doctor, I need these transactions. The bank will just send them a security key. That security key will be associated on the blockchain only with those transactions. The regulators will know it was impossible for the bank to go back and to change those transactions, right? To fake it, because now the regulators are they're going to fake. It's not possible. It's an open ledger. Everyone has seen it. There's full. So that relationship is going to drive innovation for regulators and banks to work better together, which means for you and me, we are going to feel more comfortable with that system. So now we know the bank can't lie to the regulator. The regulator has more access to the bank. You and I are going to be like, okay, so now the bank can't do anything wrong to us, and these guys accept. It's actually very, very positive. But that's the play. That's where it's going to be. It's going to be.
Top. This is the book. We see the Alexandro. We talk about on-chain law and finance with Alex Lamberg, and then the fourth question is in the finance chapter. Tirelli writes that the lawyer of the future will have to read the blockchain through legal lenses. If we apply that to finance, how do you imagine the investor or financial strategy of the future? And what message would you give to the new generation of economists and professionals entering the world of decentralized finance?
I'm smiling because there's 5 questions there. So let me give it to you. Let's break it down, and hopefully we'll just leave that up there so I can remember what the 4th one was. But so regardless of whether you are a seasoned lawyer or new lawyers coming into the space, whether you're a new finance guy coming, whether you're a new economist coming into it does not matter, right? You're good. Let me also give it to you like this. You don't need to understand what blockchain is. You won't need to learn blockchain. You won't need to be a blockchain developer. What you're going to understand is your access. What does a lawyer need? Access to information. Finance guys, access to information. Economists, access to information. In real, however, how close to real time you have access to that information, how quickly and how much can you trust that information? How real is it? Has anyone been able to change that information between when something happened and when you're seeing it? Makes all the difference. The fact that blockchain is a distributed ledger and it's very clean, it's very hard to manipulate, impossible to manipulate, that lawyer will know that the information he's reading or using to make a plea or a complaint or whatever agreement is clean, right? There's that comfort. The finance guy that says, okay, I need information from a million different sources so I can make a decision. Where's this industry going? Where is this sector going? Where is this company going? Where is this product? That's going to be very clean, very, very, very fast. Economists, same thing, right? The accuracy and the trustability of any information source gives you ability to make a better decision. They're all in the same soup, let's call it, right? They're all in the same soup. They're all seeing the same information. They're going to see faster, and they'll be able to react to it a little faster. What can I tell all of these people as far as what they should be thinking about as far as the future? The future's going to look pretty good. The future is going to look very, very good. They're going to have much better access to information and faster and more reliable, et cetera, et cetera. What they really need to start to understand is 99% of what's coming, doctor, because of this type of information is this access to information and the standardization of information is what you and I understand as globalization, right? Where is going to like a nuclear bomb, or like a rocket fuel. Globalization is going to go to the next level, and it's going to be addressed that way because sharing information, translating into languages, creating contracts and things on the fly, using artificial intelligence, using these systems is going to become very, very seamless. And when something becomes seamless and more cost-effective, more and more people start to use it, which means if you position yourself correctly, like in the book, right? If you position yourself correctly, your organization is going to expand. Your practices are going to expand. If you understand that, and you'll be able to start to move your focus from a very local, hey, these are the only people I can work with, to, yeah, I'm sitting in, let's say you're in Italy or I'm sitting in France, but all of a sudden my ability to provide that service to anyone in different countries will become almost seamless. And that's kind of how the world should be, right? I'm not a big fan of, many languages and many currencies. I think we're all one people. We should be speaking, a language, using the same currencies, working off of the same information. That's where power. I think power comes from unity, and everything you and I are talking about is meant to unify the world. Now, mind you, there are a lot of people who might get in the way because they